Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pitch Pass Podcast. It's me, Brando,
What up? It's Brett.
and we are covering the NFC North today in our offseason breakdown. We're going to be talking about what teams added and lost with their rosters, how we think they're going to perform this upcoming season, their schedule, and we're also going to see if we would take their over or their under on the season win total.
Yep. Kind of
So,
evaluate that draft too, because oof.
and honestly, for some teams in this division, I really like their draft. Other, like, for different reasons. Other ones, I'm just like, you're confused about what they're doing long term.
Um, that's true.
And a team that I think is definitely thinking long term, but definitely just said fuck this season, is going to be the first team we're talking about here in the Chicago Bears. They really said, we want no cap room this season, but we want all of it next year. Justin Fields is just going to deal with it out there. If Justin Fields can play well this season with this current Chicago Bears roster and depth chart,
Yeah.
he is the franchise guy.
Yes.
If he
Absolutely.
can do it. But it's tough because he is not getting any kind of help.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have a wide receiver one. Darnell Mooney is their best wide receiver. Their second best wide receiver is Byron Pringle, which, as a Chiefs fan, you understand that was
Yeah.
like your guys' fourth best wide receiver, and your
Yeah.
guys like. I like Byron Pringle as like a depth wide receiver or like
Yeah.
a
Like if you have him as a fourth or fifth option, but not like.
not starting, not your
Yeah.
starting slot guy,
Yeah.
or even starting for you on the outside.
Yeah.
He's a good. I will say he's a good kick returner and punt returner.
Yep.
I trust him as a returner.
And if you have other guys on the field that are like there to distract, and you just need a couple yards, if he can sneak through some guys, because he's not the guy that people are typically looking for. And I feel like that's the majority of success that he had in the Chiefs offense. It was like if you needed that down and you had like a three receiver, four receiver set, and he was just kind of able to sneak in there and either battle for like a couple yards after the catch or just like not be double teamed like Tyreek or Travis.
Yeah,
I
I
feel
was
like
about to say when you
that's
have
the start.
Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelsey, and then
Yeah.
for a good portion of years also Sammy Watkins and McCall Hardman.
Hmm.
Yeah, of course no one's paying attention to you in zone coverage. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can find the weak spot in the zone at that point if you're
Yeah.
fucking Byron Pringle.
I think even Josh Gordon drew more.
Yeah, drew more attention. I will
So.
say Bealis Jones Jr. I didn't hate the draft pick that much.
Hmm.
I think he's a fine wide receiver. I think he was the best wide receiver for the University of Tennessee last year, so I didn't hate the pick.
Hmm.
I think he's going to be a fine wide receiver for Justin Fields.
Hmm.
They just don't have a one.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I would like this receiving core
Hmm.
if they made a splash move. Like, imagine this receiving core if they added DK Metcalf.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I imagine any receiving core adding DK Metcalf. Yeah,
Like,
but like
well,
this
DK
team.
with Justin Fields' skill set
Uh huh.
would be absolutely nasty.
Yeah.
Offensive line scares the fuck out of me
Yeah.
because, like, I don't trust either of their tackles.
Yeah.
I Cody Whitehair has been a consistent interior lineman for that, but like, I really don't trust any offensive lineman on this team. The skill position players, I feel like if they play against a good back seven, are just gonna get locked up, and I feel like Justin Fields is gonna be very lucky that he's athletic and can run around.
Yeah. I was gonna say I think that I completely agree about the line. I don't really trust the line either, but somehow I just have a feeling that it's still gonna be better than the Bengals line was for the past two seasons.
Mhm.
I I agree, and I think it helps that Fields is a little bit more mobile, but yeah, it doesn't have much help when you're running for your life instead of running, scrambling to make a play. It's just like
Yeah.
scrambling not to
I mean,
use yardage. Geez,
I
I
mean,
can't talk tonight.
Fields runs in like the 4.4s. He's uber athletic. He's
Hmm.
like one of the most athletic quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
He, I just feel bad for him because I feel like the Bears are gonna tank, and there's a shot of Justin Fields not being here next year. If they love C.J. Stroud
Hmm.
from Ohio State, or they fucking love Bryce Young from Alabama,
Hmm.
and they're right there at 1 or 2, they could draft one of those guys and trade Justin Fields for some picks,
Yeah.
and have, and then maybe go out, get a veteran wide receiver in free agency,
Hmm.
do some stuff for this line in free agency, and then use that draft capital to really turn this team around in a hurry.
Yeah.
So I feel bad for Fields because it feels like he's just a lame duck quarterback this year.
Hmm.
Like he's just getting put out there just to get fucking tanked. I will say I
So,
like this Bears secondary
yeah.
going forward. I
Hmm.
think it's honestly pretty good.
Hmm.
Like right now, their starting secondary is Jalen Johnson, which is this young, solid corner.
Hmm.
Tyler Gordon, who they drafted this year. You hope he's going to play well.
Yeah.
Their slot corner is Tavon Young, who played for the Ravens, who's very solid.
Hmm.
Eddie Jackson and Jaquan Brisker, who they just drafted out of Penn State.
Hmm.
Like this secondary has a chance to be really good.
Yeah.
And honestly, they have 2 decent edge rushers. Robert Quinn, if Robert Quinn is still on the roster,
Yeah.
which I don't think he will be, I think he's gonna be cut or he's gonna be traded. Probably traded because he's one of the few pieces on this roster that you don't think wants to go through a rebuild, who's
Hmm.
worth something. So Robert Quinn could easily get traded. But Mohammed Quaiden from the Colts,
Hmm.
he's a very solid edge player. Like there's some solid players on this Bears team
Oh,
going
yeah.
forward, but
For sure.
there's absolutely no star power on this team outside of Justin Fields.
You know what I was thinking? I like the DK Metcalf comp. You got me thinking. I believe
Mm-hmm.
I know he's aged quite a bit. I know he's past his prime. Julio Jones is still free. It was rumored that he was signing with the Ravens, but he never finished that deal.
If you're the Chicago Bears, I wouldn't want a guy like Julio Jones on my roster because I don't want him to eat up any cap,
True.
and I want to develop my young wide receivers.
Yeah.
If I'm acquiring a wide receiver on this team right now, I want him to be a young guy, either about to hit his prime or in his prime,
Hmm.
where he's developing with Fields going forward.
You know what? I think this is going to be one of the rare times where I actually kind of disagree because Julio brings
I,
that veteran presence where he's played with a few different quarterbacks, and he knows different systems, so he would be able to help those younger guys. Um, and I feel like if you really want to test this rookie quarterback, not rookie, but this younger quarterback to see if you can like get more out of him or to kind of test his ceiling, I feel like kind of bringing in one of those big-bodied receivers could really help you to see, even though the line's terrible, completely agree, but Julio is a big body, so he could help block a little bit better. I think just the versatility of his skill set, and I know that he came off an injury. I know the injury wasn't good. I know he didn't look the
but
same.
when is he played though? He's not readily available very often.
Yeah.
That's
I don't
another
know.
thing. Like, do, in the Bears situation, do you want to sign Julio Jones and knowing that there's a large chance they might not play? And if you're Julio, do you even want to risk your body playing for a Bears team that you know,
Sure, I guess that's a
even
better
if you
point.
play at a high level, won't have much team success?
Yeah.
At this point in his career, you have to think Julio wants a chance to still win a ring.
Yeah. I don't know.
That
Chicago's got me like really conflicted with this because I really want to see Justin Fields do well. I like him. I think he's
I,
a great
I
kid.
want to see Justin Fields do well too, but it really sucks that he ended up getting signed by the Chicago Bears,
Yeah, where quarterbacks go to die.
where quarterbacks go to just get absolutely zero help unless you're Jay Cutler.
Real.
Okay, Jay Cutler had one of the nastiest Bears offenses I've ever seen
Yeah.
in my entire life. When he had fucking Brandon Marshall, rookie contract, Alshon Jeffries,
Hmm.
Martell's Bennett at tight end, and Matt Forte at running back.
Yeah.
Like, just absolutely just demolishing guys on jump ball situations. That offense just was so just OP'd at the skill position
Hmm.
players. If you gave that to like a quarterback that was a little bit more consistent than Jay Cutler, they would have
Hmm.
been so good. But
Yeah.
also, Jay Cutler is the best quarterback in Bears history.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Hey, hey, Nick Foles was there, okay?
then well, he still also didn't play for them. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
But he was there. Okay, he was there.
he was there. So was Andy Dalton.
Oh, true. Well, I think Nick
Andy
Foles is
Dalton
probably.
actually played.
Yeah. Man, I feel bad for Andy Dalton's been having it rough the past few years.
Hey, he'll be fine. He's playing with the Saints.
Well, playing
Okay,
probably
imagine
not,
him
but he's
watching
there.
the Bengals going to the Super Bowl last year
I know. With how bad
and
that
watching
offensive line
him,
was too.
yeah, and watching Joe Burrow do it
Mhm.
with his rookie wide receiver, Jamar Chase,
Mhm.
and just thinking about his rookie year with AJ Green, just be like, man, no chance I could have done that then.
Yeah, for real. Andy Dalton is Hall of Good.
Yeah, he's a Hall of very good player.
Yeah.
He's like a Bengals Ring of Honor player.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, probably third or fourth best quarterback in their franchise history.
I think that's fair.
I'm gonna say it's gonna go Burrow, Boomer, Andy Dalton, Carson Palmer.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe flip flop Palmer and Dalton. I'm okay with either one being 3 or 4, but they are 3 and 4 for the Bengals.
That sounds right to me. I am more than fine with that list.
Yeah, like, but just I I really want Justin Fields to succeed, but I don't think they're gonna ever put the pieces around him to succeed,
Yeah. And
and
with no
that's okay.
pieces this year and with their schedule being opening with the 49ers, which is rough, then playing the
Yeah,
Packers, which is rough, playing the Texans, which I think the Texans are better than people think. I
I
don't
think the Texans are gonna be. I think honestly, if especially if they have any injuries at all on the offensive side or the defensive side, if
Mhm.
they have any major injuries, they could start the year 0-4, 0-5.
Yeah. And then
Like,
the Giants.
okay, the Giants could be. We'll see how Brian Dable is as a coach, if
Yeah,
he's a good head coach or not. I like what the Giants did in the draft. I like.
I agree.
I mean, they have a bunch of wide receivers. They spent a shit ton of money on it. They used a
Mhm.
bunch of draft capital on it. You we'll see if Daniel Jones is the guy because he has a million skill position players, including Saquon Barkley.
Mhm.
The offensive line should be better at this point. They finally have two offensive tackles that are capable.
Mhm.
Let's this is the time to see what they can do. And then they play the Vikings, which I think the Vikings divisional games are always fun
Yeah.
because the worst team in the division always has a weird shot, even against the best team.
Mhm.
And they play the Commanders. I think they'll throttle the Commanders. I
Yeah.
think they'll just absolutely curve stomp them.
I don't know about
But I
curb
think that's
stomp, but I think they win for sure. Yeah.
yeah. So, but that's a Thursday night game. I think. Pretty, or
The
maybe not. I'm not sure.
13th. No, that seems like a Thursday. Let me check.
Yeah,
October
October
13th.
13th. Because then they play on the 24th, also
October
prime
13th
time.
is a Thursday. Yes.
Okay, and then they played the Sunday night game the next week, October 24th, against the Patriots at Gillette. So I feel like
Yeah, I think the
that
Patriots
one's gonna
win
be
that.
tough. I
I
think the Patriots are going to take that one.
yeah. Playing against the Cowboys next. I think the Cowboys roster is still decent, even with some of their losses. I think they've been doing
Michael
okay.
Parsons is gonna destroy those
Oh God,
offensive linemen.
yeah. I hope they just
Him and
line them up
Demarcus
every time.
Lawrence,
Yeah.
both of them are playing at the same time. It's not gonna be pretty. Um, Dolphins. I think Dolphins are a really good team.
Hmm.
They're probably gonna be good. Lions are gonna be sneaky good this year. We'll talk about them more later.
Hmm.
Um, Falcons. I feel like that one's gonna be a competitive game. That
Yeah.
one will be a fun one to watch.
Hmm.
Jets. That's gonna be a competitive game. I feel like they can beat both the Jets and the Falcons.
Yeah.
They can maybe beat Detroit too.
Hmm.
Depends how Jared Goff plays. Then they play Green Bay. I don't think they can beat the Packers any point this year.
I completely agree. Yeah.
And they play the Eagles. I think the Eagles are gonna beat them. They play the Bills. Bills are probably gonna beat them.
Oh yeah.
Detroit toss up. Vikings toss up just because it's divisional games.
Hmm.
I don't think they can get the 7 wins.
No, I really don't think so either. I maybe 4 or 5 at best, probably.
So they're over under 6.5 wins.
Yeah, taking the under.
I'm taking the under. I would put them at 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll put
Yeah,
them at 4 wins.
that's right where I got them too.
I have them splitting the series with Detroit.
It's definitely possible.
Just because Jared Goff beat Jared Goffin.
Yeah, you never know. That
Or
Lions team, man.
or the Vikings. Or the Vikings split the series with them because Kirk Cousins beat Kirk Cousins. I don't know. I But this defense could possibly save them in a game.
Hmm.
I think they're honestly have their starting five in the secondary
Hmm.
is solid. Like there's not
Yeah.
a major hole there.
Yes, I agree.
I like it. Like that's a solid secondary. Like the rest of the defense outside Roquan Smith is good.
Hmm.
The other edge is good, opposite of Robert Quinn, Muhammad.
Hmm.
The rest of the defense, question marks.
Yeah, the rest of the team, question marks.
Question marks and winky faces. All right, where do you want to go next, buddy?
I mean, you want to take it to Minnesota next?
All right, let's go to the Minnesota Vikings.
Um, Lewis Seen, end of the first round. Um, I don't know if that was the best pick for the position that they were at.
Mhm.
But I don't think it was a bad pick by any means. They got Andrew Booth Jr. I think that was the best pick for where they were at. Um,
Oh yeah,
they were lucky that he was still there in the second round. Um,
I like the. Honestly, the Vikings have drafted so many corners throughout
mhm.
the years. Eventually, they're just bound to start hitting on a couple, right?
Uh, they
They got
hope
to hit
so.
on a couple of corners eventually.
They sure hope so.
They have
Um,
Patrick Peterson coming back to play alongside with him.
yeah, we
I
we've
think
talked about the Vikings team and about this roster a little bit. Um, and they do have some aging issues on this roster. But they've drafted they've definitely had some hits in the draft. Um, they've gotten some really good receivers. Justin Jefferson, one of the most talented young receivers. Um,
Adam Thielen, who's forever underrated.
yes, absolutely.
Fantastic receiver.
They're just really
Um,
hung up by the Kirk Cousins contract. That's really all it is. That's holding them back because
Osborne's a good number 3 wide receiver.
they'd be able to make so many moves if they had more cap space, if they had more room. But you see them having to get rid of really talented players because either they're unhappy or they want to move on. Um, because money, they just get paid better other places. Kirk Cousins' cap hit is 31 million this year.
Which
And
is
it's
bonkers.
yeah, like
He's not. He hinders that team
yeah,
because they had to lose guys like Michael Pierce. They had to lose guys like Xavier Woods, like guys who could have who contributed to this team last year, who they lost in free agency. Like, I don't know, man. Like Kirk Cousins, if he made less money, they could definitely make moves, like you said, and try to be a Super Bowl caliber team.
yes. And you
I
saw what was it? Was it? I think it was Justin Jefferson's rookie season. I don't think it was this past year. Where he got really frustrated because he was open in the end zone and Kirk choked look and he didn't throw to him. He said, "Throw the fucking ball, Kirk! God damn!"
that was
And
this year.
that was this year. Okay, yeah.
That was this past season. Yeah, no, I don't
Oh
blame
yeah, you're
him.
right. That was his
Adam
early
Thielen
run.
gets pissed off at him too.
Yeah,
Like legit.
he's had such talented receivers. Like you said, even their number three is like still a really solid receiver. They
Yeah,
had
KJ
Stephon
Osborne
Diggs. Yeah.
is a good what like slot receiver. Irv Smith Jr. is a good receiving tight end.
Yes.
Like they're and they have Dalvin Cook at
Hmm.
running back. Like their skill position players are so good. Their offensive line has slowly gotten better.
Yes.
Brian O'Neill is quietly one of the better young right tackles in the NFL.
Hmm.
Ezra Cleveland is a solid left guard. Christian Darrisaw played all right as a rookie. Garrett Bradbury should be a solid center next year.
I agree.
Right guard's a question mark.
Yeah. I think that's kind of
But
that's the scary thing for a
offensive
lot of these
line should
rosters.
be better.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins, it's going to be up to how Kirk Cousins plays.
Yeah.
'Cause this is a solid, like beyond solid. This is a very good skill position group.
A lot of where these teams' questions lie is in some of that line though. It's offensive line
Yeah.
or defensive line. It's like a lot of teams have bolstered their pass rush, their secondary, but there's like some of these teams are not going to be able to stop the run. I don't know how
Yeah.
Minnesota's run defense is going to be. I don't think it'll be
They're
too
switching.
terrible.
Dude, they switched to a 3-4,
Yeah.
which is interesting because so looks like they're gonna have Dalvin Tomlinson point at the nose.
Hmm.
Um, a big signing for them was getting Zadarius
Zadarius
Smith.
Smith. Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Oh, I was so hoping Zadarius Smith was gonna go back to the Ravens, which he almost did. But they announced it too early,
Hmm.
and I think that rubbed them the wrong way. So he pulled the deal and got more money by going to Minnesota,
Yeah.
which I was like, oh god damn it! Now we have to play against him twice a year.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be playing opposite Donnell Hunter, which is gonna be an awesome edge rush tandem.
Yeah.
Um, the Vikings' weakness is definitely in the middle of their defensive line.
Hmm.
They don't really have a great interior defensive lineman.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Um,
I don't know how they're going to be against the run this year. I
Eric Kendricks is a very good linebacker. He should
Mhm.
play well. They got Jordan Hicks from the Arizona Cardinals. He should play all right for them. The secondary, it depends how the rookies play.
Mhm.
We saw this year in the draft with guys like Lewis Seen and Kyle Hamilton when they were both drafted.
Mhm.
How the NFL went going to these too high looks again. How much they are really valuing the safety position again.
Absolutely.
The position is gaining so much value because you need guys to play be super versatile and play at such a high level
Hmm.
for these defenses to run.
Yeah.
So let me pull up their over under on FanDuel real quick. So for the
There's a
Minnesota,
new standard of what it means to be a quarterback in the NFL, right? Like the Mahomes, the Lamar Jackson, and
yeah,
then you have the Kyler Murray, the Josh Allen, the Joe Burrow, the upcoming Trey Lance. You have this new wave of quarterbacks that are so multi-talented.
and you need guys on the other end to be able to stop them. So you need guys who are just as talented and just as versatile.
Yeah.
Like you, like the talent level in the NFL is getting to such an insane point.
Hmm. And you get all these
So,
teams like buffing their pass rush, and like that's great, but
mhm.
that's
You
not
guys
all you
need
got to
guys who
do.
can cover in the back end too.
Yeah.
It's a balance. Like defense is a balance, and something that really goes with the secondary,
Hmm.
which I believe this philosophy about both the secondary and the offensive line.
Hmm.
It is a weakest link kind of system.
Yeah.
Teams are going to attack and find ways to ISO the weakest link on the offensive line and then the secondary.
Hmm.
You're better off being average across the board than just having one elite player and just terrible players everywhere else. But if you can have one elite player and then at least average to a couple above average guys across the board,
Hmm.
you can win a Super Bowl, i.e. the Rams.
Yeah.
The Rams had Jalen Ramsey being their only elite player in the secondary last year,
Hmm.
but then they had a bunch of guys that were above average to average. They had Eric Weddle, who came out of retirement and
Yeah.
had a great games during the run. They We'll get to the Rams more later on. I don't need to ramble about them. We are talking about the Vikings still. Their over under for their win total
Hmm.
is 8.5.
Oh.
So they do have a new head coach. They have the
Yeah.
Rams offensive coordinator from last year.
Let's take a look at their schedule. Open with the Packers, go to the Eagles, go to the Lions, the Saints, the Bears, the Dolphins, Cardinals, Commanders, Bills, Cowboys, Patriots,
It's a
Jets,
tough schedule.
Lions, Colts, Giants, Packers, and Bears. Yeah, it's definitely a tough
I
schedule.
think I think they beat both the New York teams. I think they can beat Chicago once. I think
Hmm.
they beat Detroit once. I think that's
Yes.
6 games. Commanders, that's
I
7.
was gonna say I have them right about at 7, 7.5.
Uh,
I think there's potential that they could beat a team like on
they
an
could
off day like the Patriots, but
they could beat they could beat the Packers maybe even one of the games we play them because it's just a divisional game. It's weird.
yeah,
I do think they can beat the Patriots.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll put them at the 8.5. I'll take the under on 8.5.
Hmm. I don't think they make
If it
more
was
than
at
8 wins.
7.5, I would maybe be more tempted.
Yeah,
But 8.5, I say no. I don't
yeah.
think that they beat some of the teams on this slate.
I agree. I'm the same way.
It's it's gonna be a fun schedule to watch
Yeah, for sure.
because that game against the Cowboys
Hmm.
is gonna be a light show
Yeah,
because Kirk Cousins always just balls out against them ever since he was played for the
for the
team formerly known
Washington.
as the Redskins.
Yeah, the Washington team.
The Washington Commanders. They were okay. The Commanders is such a stupid name. They were better
Yeah,
off being the Washington football team.
yeah, for real. Everybody gave him shit at first about the Washington football team, but then they were like, hey, that's
It
kind of
it
okay.
fits. It's kind of it was kind of dope.
It caught on.
I
Yeah, it's
would
kind of hard.
like now being the Commanders. No one likes that.
No one
Like
likes it. Yeah,
okay, I think the team should have waited until the probe of their owner was done
yeah,
before naming the team. Because if he gets forced to sell the team, I would have wanted the new owner to be able to like name the
rename
new
it.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of why they tried to rebrand in a hurry. The Commanders have tried to cover a lot of stuff up, and we'll get to them when we get to the East. But um, yeah, dude, Kirk Cousins has always been a. They are expecting the
He's
ceiling of his performance at all points in time, which frustrates his teammates considering how much cap space he takes up. Um,
because he takes up a lot of cap space. Kirk Cousins is a fantastic regular season quarterback.
Yes.
He is a very good regular season player. He will put up great stats.
Hmm.
He will give you opportunities to win games
Yeah.
and to get in the playoffs. The
But
ceiling is the divisional round in the fucking playoffs.
yeah, it's
Like he's like he's going to choke in the playoffs. He's going to
yeah.
choke in big games. Kirk Cousins is I I don't know what happens whenever he plays against an elite level defense or when he needs to keep up in a shootout. Just something happens to where he just a disconnect happens and he just starts making mistakes or holding on to the ball too long and
Yeah.
just
It's like he tries to play too fast, but at the same time he looks lost, so he just makes those mistakes all the time.
or just full batting completions too.
Yeah.
Just like honestly, just not being able to make some of the passes. But I one of my favorite things about Kirk Cousins is that he's unvaccinated. But for years he would let people at fucking Michigan State poke his brain with a needle for like CT testing.
You know,
But you won't get the vaccine.
there are
Yeah,
all different
that
kinds
makes
of people out
perfect
there.
sense. Yeah, there's a bunch of different people out there, but I want to understand the logic behind that specifically.
Well, you know,
But I understand if the people that are hesitant or word hesitant about getting vaccinated. I understand.
all I'm saying is, I have never seen an anti-vaxxer that doesn't vaccinate their pets.
I don't know about that.
I have personally never seen one, and I'm like, dude, look, like they make you vaccinate your kid. Okay, this is not to get into like a political discourse. This is the only thing I'm going to say about it. One, there's a reason that schools mandate your children to be vaccinated by sending them there, to
Yes.
send them there. Like it helps prevent widespread infection, and if you don't believe in science, then there's nothing that I could say to convince you if you don't believe in science. There's nothing I can say.
Mhm.
You are entitled to your own beliefs, your own whatever. And again, I'm not trying to take this on like some political side whatever. I don't personally, I don't care. Do whatever's best for you, but if you don't believe in science, then there's no point in me trying to convince you otherwise. But Kirk Cousins,
Fuck science. Fuck
no
your
matter the
science.
science, uh, Kirk Cousins just
Your
can't get it done in the
cousins.
playoffs.
Yeah.
He is the Kirk Cousins curse, the Cousins curse. He is like the gatekeeper of the very good teams. It's like if you lose to him in the regular season, you are not winning the Super Bowl. Period.
Yeah. Well, yeah, probably not. I
I don't
honestly
think there's
think
ever been a team that has. If they
I
lost to him, I don't think so.
probably not. I think we're honestly going to sweep Kirk Cousins this year.
Mm.
And when I think our schedule is very winnable.
Oh yeah,
I am very excited for this upcoming season. We're we're gonna dive into it now. I think we capped out the Vikings just like
yeah.
they've capped out Kirk Cousins' potential.
Do you want to hit the lines before we go there or no?
And we can hit the Lions
All
before
right,
we
all
go
right,
there.
all right.
Let me pull up the Detroit Lions, the Detroit kneecap eaters.
All right. As the Michigan native here at the current time, I will
Yep.
unfortunately take this one for us. Um, First of all, I love that we got Aiden Hutchinson. First of all, it's a fantastic fucking marketing thing. Like, there was no better player that we could have drafted for this state.
For
Keeping him close
real.
to home, it's a really good look. Like, I personally, I didn't grow up here, so I'm not like a huge like diehard Lions fan. Like, I don't hate the team by any measures. I
I
love
mean,
the team. What's up?
I'm from South Bend, Indiana, so I completely understand how Michigan people feel about the University of Michigan and the Detroit Lions. I completely understand.
Yeah, like the thing with me is I grew up a Chiefs fan anyway, and the other team that I like adopted and loved was the Rams because I grew up in LA. But the Lions, I got a lot of family that's Lions fans. I always watched the games growing up. I always rooted for them growing up. I'm rooting for them now. I love kind of the direction they're going. They have not had a winning culture. I love how passionate their new head coach is. I love the draft that they did. I think Aiden Hutchinson, like I said, I think that's probably the best pick that they could have made. Um, I love Jameson Williams. He's pretty pretty tall. I mean,
I
yeah,
think
he's
he's
six
6
two,
foot.
6'2".
Oh, he's 6'2".
Yeah. Um,
He's skinny though. I know
so
that.
I don't understand why Minnesota traded that pick to the Lions. But as a partial
Instead of
Lions
just
fan, we'll take it.
imagine if they didn't and they just drafted Jamison Williams
Yeah, that would be
and just he's recovering off that ACL.
mhm.
You could have just waited
Yeah.
because they have Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and KJ Osborne still. But then imagine when he came back, because all three of them can play on the inside, on the outside, and in the slot,
Yeah.
and just imagine how OP that receiving core could have been.
Yeah, and then next
Oh,
year with the quarterback class coming out, you could either try to trade up for a pick with some team that has a solid quarterback and just kind of roll with that, or you could say, hey, let's test our luck, see if we can get like a mid first round quarterback and kind of go
and
there.
there's gonna be a bunch of quarterbacks in next year's class too.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
you don't have to feel like you hamstrung if you can't like get up to like the top three for Strode or Young
Yeah.
because there's also going to be Levis from Kentucky. There's going to be Hooker from
Hmm.
Tennessee. The kid from Stanford's supposed to be very good. Like there's gonna be a bunch of first round guys. There's gonna
And
be probably 5 to 6 first round quarterbacks next year.
speaking of needing a quarterback, Detroit is also going to be in the market. I believe this is the last year on Goff's contract, and I don't think they're going to want to re-up that. Um,
No, this
so
was always the plan.
I think,
Detroit
yeah,
is in a position to do one of two things. Either try to draft because they have draft capital next year.
mhm,
Try to draft a quarterback,
yep,
or try to get a veteran quarterback that's disgruntled with their current situation.
yeah, the reverse Matt Stafford.
So,
They have some really really good pieces. I will tell you, I am a fan of T.J. Hawkinson. I have watched him up close and personal in
TJ Hawkinson's
a couple
fantastic.
games.
Good tight end.
Um, Jamal Williams still really good, but DeAndre Swift is fantastic. I've seen a
DeAndre
lot of
Swift
these
is
guys
a
play
great receiver running back.
really up and
I
close and personal in person. I have seen a few of these games. They have Penei Sewell, um, DJ Chark, who else?
They also have
Jeff Okuda.
Amon Ross St. Brown,
Yes,
Sun God
yes,
St. Brown. He he was a fantasy cheat code last year.
for real.
Just I feel like him with DJ Shark and Jamison Williams.
Hmm.
If Williamson, if Jamison Williamson can come back and play well
Yeah.
off his ACL as a rookie,
Hmm.
that receiving core is gonna be so good next
Yeah,
year. It's
absolutely.
gonna be so wicked good.
So this year, it's kind of up in the air what we're gonna see because Jared Goff has a ceiling, right? Like you,
Mm.
the Super Bowl with the Patriots. Um, I'm not gonna
That
say
was such
Jared
a
Goff
bad
was
game.
hard carried because Jared Goff definitely put up some numbers throughout the season. Like he showed some flashes of
Jared
like being good, but he can't
Jared
carry a
Goff
team.
can be Jared Goff can be as good as his offense is around him, and
Yes.
Jared Goff can actually make Jared Goff can make a good offense a little bit better,
Hmm.
but he does bottom out. He does have
Yeah.
a ceiling, and he can't carry a bad offense in any way.
I
This
hmm.
The offense is very good. Like you said, the skill position players are really good. I will say this about DeAndre Swift. I thought he was the best running back in his draft class.
Yes.
And I don't understand how and why you guys picked Clyde Edwards-Helaire
I
over
don't either.
DeAndre Swift.
I
DeAndre
question a
Swift
lot of
would have
things.
been such a better fit with the Chiefs. And
Yeah.
imagine your guys' current offense with DeAndre Swift in it.
I
It
wish I
would be
could. I really
so
wish I
much better.
could.
I
Um,
Clyde Edwards-Helaire paid off by being a part of the greatest college football team of all time.
yeah.
But
I think if we drafted him as an
Detroit,
RB2, would have been fine. But expecting him to be our number one,
you don't
like,
do that in the first round.
yeah,
You don't draft an RB2 in the first round.
yeah,
I'm also going to put that out there. You don't, or I'm just going to also put this out there. If they are not going to be major contributing factors
I
in
completely
the
agree.
passing game as well, you do not take a running back in the first
I
round.
completely
Or maybe you
agree.
just don't take a running back in the first round, period.
I, again, unless you're playing fantasy, completely agree. Yep.
Yeah,
I
fantasy football,
only
go
exception.
for it.
Yep. um, yeah, I really like a lot of the pieces that the Lions have. Again, I feel like their ceiling is as high as Goff goes.
Yeah, their ceiling is. I think they can be a playoff team. They can make one of those wild card slots in the
Yeah,
NFC.
I agree with that. They can, but the question
They're
is
very well coached.
the schedule.
The set, their schedule is going to be a little tough. Their secondary is improved.
Mm-hmm.
The secondary should be a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, we both like their draft.
Yeah,
And Hutchinson should add to the pass rush.
absolutely.
Jamison Williams should play well.
Mm-hmm.
They got the edge rusher from Kentucky that should hopefully come off the bench and help as well. Like they have pieces.
Mm-hmm. You're talking
And
about Josh Pascal Pash something. I don't remember how to say it.
yeah,
Pashkal something. I don't
yeah.
remember. Sorry for fucking up your name.
So he should honestly be even starting for him opposite of Aiden Hutchinson.
That would be a decent tandem. Not bad.
Yeah, because I don't think they re-signed Trey Flowers.
Let me check real quick.
Pretty sure they let him walk.
Yep, they did. $12 million dead cap hit. That's rough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're looking for possibly trying to spend next year's free agency. That they were really hoping Kyler Murray and the Cardinals weren't going to figure it out,
Yeah.
which I think they're definitely going to figure it out. You know who I would swing for if they don't figure out a contract?
Who?
Going after Lamar.
Oh, man.
If I'm
You're
Detroit-
swinging for the fences with that.
If
Yeah.
I'm Detroit and the Ravens can't figure it out with him, man, I'm offering some picks for Lamar Jackson, and I'm trying to
Bet.
go for a Super Bowl now because
Yeah.
they have an offensive line. They have the receiving core for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have a tight end for him to play with. They have running backs that he can play with. Like they legit imagine the Lamar offense with this offensive roster would be absolutely insane. Plug Lamar Jackson in instead of Jared Goff, this team would win that division.
Yeah, that would be swinging for the fucking
That-
fences. Absolutely.
That would be dream scenario for Detroit is if they can pry Lamar Jackson away from the Ravens, which I don't think they can.
Yeah, I really don't think they can either, but that
Because I think the Ravens pay Lamar after the season.
yeah.
Because I think Lamar's about to go crazy.
Yeah, I completely that 100% agree with all of the above. I can't really see in any situation where they let Lamar walk. They've built that whole offense around him. I think they really trust and believe in him. If the Lions really are just like a few small pieces away, like they could be a playoff team this year. I completely agree with
Yeah.
you. It really depends on how the NFC pans out, but they are especially one quarterback away from having like a really good season and breaking that curse. Like
Yeah,
a better
like they're
quarterback, a higher ceiling would get you a playoff win. Like
yeah, like they're like probably probably a corner,
hmm
quarterback, and a corner away from really being able to make some noise in the
yeah,
NFC.
that's so fair, completely fair.
But man, if they add like a top-notch outside corner
hmm
to pair with Jeffrey Okuda,
hmm
they really could do something.
Yeah,
They could really cook on defense. Then offensively, like we beat the dev. If they can get a good quarterback, they can make it work.
let me.
They,
Sorry.
I feel like if they somehow could pull off getting CJ Strode or fucking Young
Yeah.
or Levis from Kentucky, which is pretty much the top three going into the draft right now. Those are
hmm
probably the consensus top three.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna break out and have a good season that we don't see coming right now. Like
I. Oh, sorry.
hey, Spencer Rattler at
Yeah.
South Carolina transferred. He could have a great year. Connor Williams over at USC,
hmm
the transfer from Oklahoma,
Yeah.
could have an amazing year. And he's playing with the same fucking head coach in Lincoln Riley,
hmm
playing with Jordan Addison, one of the best wide receivers in college. Like there's gonna be a bunch of quarterbacks coming into this draft class, and man, like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if 6 guys go in the first.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a top pick. If you're just willing to move up, you can go get a guy.
Completely agree. And that's really good for a lot
I
of
think
these
Detroit's
teams
in a
that are
great situation.
needing a quarterback going into next few years. Yeah.
So
I did not know Panay was only 21. Uh,
yeah, oh Sewell is very
yeah.
young,
And
and
he is going to be so good.
that offensive line is already one of the better units in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like,
And barring injury, I really can't see him doing anything but improving. He seems like a really really hardworking like good guy. So I really really hope he has a great career.
he has a good he has that nasty in him that you want from an offensive lineman, a guy that's
hmm
goes a little bit after the whistle, just a little bit.
Yeah, not enough to
Got
get
love
flagged, but enough to make a point.
enough to really piss off a defensive player.
Yeah.
So they're scheduled. They start the year at the Eagles. I do think that game on September 11th
hmm
is gonna be such a week one
Yeah.
has so many good matchups. It's
hmm
gonna be ridiculous.
Yeah.
I am gonna get NFL Game Pass this season specifically to be able to watch all the games from Week One, even
Yeah.
like Jalen Hurts coming to town. We're gonna see how good that Detroit defense is because the Eagles' offense is loaded with skill position players.
Oh
They have a
yeah.
solid offensive line. Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback, athletic, can run the ball. Like they're gonna have the kitchen sink thrown at them week one.
I shouldn't
Then
reveal this if any of you guys are in our fantasy football league that are listening, but I have Jalen Hurts first overall for quarterback for PPR this year.
see, I am perfectly okay with that, and that's the kind of ceiling Jalen Hurts has.
hmm
Like being a rushing quarterback,
hmm
you always have the ceiling of like finishing QB1
Yeah.
if you have a good situation. Like Justin Fields just doesn't have that kind of situation. If he did,
No.
he could have that kind of ceiling.
Yeah. You have to have like
It
some semblance of an offensive line or some semblance of a receiving core to have that potential. And Joe Burrow had one of the two and still couldn't make it.
yeah, Tom Brady was a fantastic fantasy quarterback last year. So was Matthew Stafford, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert. Like it's just, I think a quarterback like there's such a limited edge you can really get from that position.
Yeah.
As long as you get like a top 8 guy, you're gonna be good.
Yeah, unless you
or
have
even
that
like
one
a
guy
couple.
who just fucking breaks out every year, like Patrick Mahomes, the 50 touchdown season, or
Lamar
Lamar
Jackson
Jackson in
typically, yeah,
2018, was it, or 2019? Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Oh my God, that year of Lamar just knifing through the whole league like fucking butter. Do you remember his
yeah,
Monday night game against the Rams with for like 5 touchdowns? But
yeah,
anyway, back to Detroit. That tells you that Detroit Lions need to get more exciting at quarterback
yeah.
because we're talking about Lamar Jackson more than we're talking about them.
Hey man, we've been
Um,
saying they're one quarterback away, and Lamar Jackson happens to fit that bill if we can.
Lamar Jackson would be an amazing fit for Detroit.
Yeah.
They can beat the Commanders.
Oh, absolutely.
Minnesota, that's going to be a measuring stick game for them.
Hmm.
See where they're going to stand in NFC and in their division. Seattle, they should beat the brakes off the Seahawks.
Yes.
The Seahawks are good at wide receiver. I think they have like three okay wide receivers. Tight end, Noah Fan, I think is a good tight end.
I agree. I like Noah.
They have good running backs. So I think skill position players are fine. Their offensive line still is not great. It hasn't been great for a long time. Quarterback, for the Seahawks, if it's Geno Smith, they have way more of a shot. If it's Drew Lock, man, that secondary is gonna eat.
Yeah.
Um, then Detroit against the Patriots, that's gonna be another measuring stick game.
Yeah.
Probably by that point, Jameson Williams should be back to full strength and running. So we're gonna
Hmm.
see how that's gonna look, having a deep threat again.
Yeah, and the Patriots don't have any form of passing game, so I mean, really be a good gauge of like
I,
what your
I have a
offense can
buddy who's a
accomplish.
Patriots fan who is very excited about Tyquan Thornton. Like they are very excited about him. I
That's totally fine, but your
It's
quarterback
fine to be
is
excited,
the ceiling.
but I'm not that excited about a wide receiver from Baylor.
I'm not that excited about having Mac Jones throw to a receiver.
Yeah.
So, after the Patriots, they go to the Cowboys, which is definitely going to be a rough one. I think it's almost certain they lose that one. That's going to be a really tough out. Um,
CeeDee Lamb's gonna just tear their secondary apart.
yeah,
It's good. CeeDee Lamb's gonna just eat. Then they play the Dolphins. That's
Dolphins.
gonna be another tough game.
Yeah.
Green Bay. That's gonna be rough. They can beat. They'll beat the Bears. They'll
Hmm.
probably beat the Giants.
I think so.
Bills is gonna be rough.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
Um, then they
Jags.
play Jags. That's a winnable game.
Yeah.
Vikings. That's another winnable game. They'll probably beat the
Hmm.
Jets.
They definitely
Probably
should
beat
beat
the
the
Panthers.
Panthers. Yeah.
They'll beat the Panthers even if Baker Mayfield's the quarterback.
Probably. Yeah.
I'll. This is my hot take. Some people may disagree with me on this. I'll take Jared Goff over Baker Mayfield. You know
Oh,
why? Jared Goff isn't going to turn the ball over as much.
man.
If you like,
You're gonna make me
I,
think about that one. I'll get back to you on that one when we get
I
to
will also
Carolina.
say,
But
look at their careers. Who's had more solid seasons?
well, who's had the best defensive player of our generation? And
Okay, he's had Miles Garrett. Miles Garrett is
yeah,
one of the best edge. Is probably a Hall of Fame edge player.
oh, absolutely Hall of Fame. But
I
uh,
mean, Baker has not been good.
no, I completely agree with that. But I mean,
Jared Goff has at least been a Pro Bowler.
yeah, 1 year, right?
Yeah, he's been a
Yeah,
Pro Bowler. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
I guess, man.
I,
Hey, you know,
I'm. Some of the Baker fanboys disagree with me about this. I don't think he's. I think he's white Jameis Winston with a lower ceiling.
that sure. I don't think I could have a description accurate at all. I'm not a Baker fan, but uh, I think Baker's ceiling is probably higher than Goff's, but Goff's floor is higher than Baker's. How about that?
And I think Goff will hit his ceiling more consistently than Baker.
Probably.
Um, Lions against the Bears. They'll probably beat the Bears, and then they
Oh
end the
yeah.
year at the Packers.
Let's count these up.
They'll
Let's see.
probably lose that game.
So Commanders, one split with the Vikings, Seahawks, Patriots. It really depends on the health of him coming back.
So their over under is 6.5. I can
Bears. I'll give it
they
over.
can definitely. I'll give them the over too. They can definitely get to like 8 to 9 wins this
Yeah,
year.
I completely agree. I think 8.5 is really,
Especially,
really fair range.
especially if they start off the year hot and actually knock off the Eagles.
Yeah,
Like they could start the year 4-0.
yeah,
They
and
could
what a
actually start the
fucking
year 5
momentum
and
swing.
0
I mean,
with
they're
the
the Lions,
Patriots.
so I really don't think they will, but
Hey, if Dan Campbell has them out and ready to play, there's no reason they couldn't start the year 4-1.
well, there's a reason, and it's because it's Detroit football. But
It's Detroit football, but they could. I do think the Eagles are going to beat them because I think the Eagles have like a
same.
top 10 defense.
Yeah. Well, and their
I
their
think their offense
offensive
is very good.
weapons are really, really good. Miles Sanders is back and healthy, we hope. And
And they just signed Jaquaski Tart from the San Francisco 49ers.
mm,
That's what they really needed was a good safety that can rotate.
mm,
Um, they have Darius Slay, and they also pulled off the trade for James Bradbury.
mhm.
So like, man, that and the Eagles, their defensive line is so deep. You can literally break them into two defensive lines, and they
Mhm.
would still be two good defensive lines.
That is fair. Yeah, I agree.
Especially with the depth they have.
Yeah.
Like their depth isn't as high as their Super Bowl year.
Yes.
It's still so good. I I don't think they. I honestly don't think Detroit can beat them, but they can beat the Commanders. They can beat Minnesota. They should beat the Seahawks. They
I
can beat
think
the Patriots.
I think they
They can
can.
definitely go 4-1.
I think
They
it's
can go 4-1
unlikely,
to
but I
start,
think they can.
and then they'll probably lose against Dallas. Dallas is just very talented.
Hmm.
Miami. Miami's a toss-up. Depends how Tua's playing.
I think Miami wins, but I think it's going to be closer than people expect.
Yeah, they'll probably lose to Green Bay. So
I can
they'll be
almost
four
guarantee
and
they
one
lose to
there.
Green
Then
Bay.
they'll be 4-3. They'll probably be 4-4. Beat Chicago 5-4. Beat the Giants 6-4. Lose
That's
to the Bills 6-5.
10 win. Hey. Hey.
Hey, they're gonna get to 7 wins because
Yeah, I agree.
they're already there. They're already at 6 right there for me by the time they get to Buffalo, and then they have 6 games left.
Yeah.
And those 6 games are Jacksonville, Minnesota, Detroit,
The
Jacksonville,
Jets.
Minnesota,
Jets, Panthers,
Jets,
Bears, Packers.
Panthers, and then Lions, and then Green Bay.
Is it
They can win one of those games.
they could
They're gonna
they
hit the
could win
over.
4 of those games. Dude,
Yeah, they're
if
gonna hit the
if
over.
they can live up to their potential, if they cannot be Detroit football,
If
they could be a 10-win team.
yeah, they're a playoff team if they live up to their potential. Which
Well,
Dan Quinn was having them play above their potential all year last year.
yes.
So we'll see. We
Well,
will see.
speaking of playing up to their potential, I'm gonna let you just take off on this for the last one that
The
we
Green
have
Bay
in this
Packers.
division. Yeah.
So I had so many mixed feelings about how this offseason went.
Same.
Um, Now, looking back at how everything ended up unfolding at the very end, I'm very happy
Okay.
because we have a defense that does not have any holes.
True.
We have literally we have a high level starter at literally every portion of our defense. There is not a single position to where we have a starter on our defense to where that is a weak link.
Agree completely.
Like literally, if you go for our defense, it's just almost looks like a list of names just because of how good they are. Like Our worst starting corner is Rasul Douglas, who had an amazing year last year with us.
Yeah.
Like my only real question mark is high level edge rusher.
Mm-hmm.
We did Ladarius Smith go.
Yeah.
Darius Smith go to the Vikings. We're really hoping Rashawn Gary can make one more step and really be that elite edge rusher for us.
Mm-hmm.
We did draft another edge rusher in the fifth round, Kingsley Ingleberry from South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's gonna be very good. I think he can do some of the stuff that Zadarius Smith did, lining up over guards and like the center, doing some of that stunt stuff. And I think he can really grow and be a good edge rusher for us. I think he'll be nice coming off the edge, and coming off the bench for us. Because Preston Smith is still a very good edge player, and he'll still be starting for us.
Yeah.
I loved our draft. Looking back on it, in the first round, I was a little disappointed we didn't take a wide receiver.
Yeah.
But we traded up in the second, and we got Christian Watson out of South Dakota State. I feel like a lot of people would have been happy if we would have drafted in the first round. So I have no qualms with us getting him in the second.
Yeah.
Got Quayla Walker, who is going to be a great linebacker to play with Devondre Campbell. Let Campbell do what he does best, playing more against the run, manning up on running backs. Let Quay Walker be that kind of linebacker that's a little outside the box, that plays more against the tight ends, and is more of that helper in zone coverage, and not the guy that's more spying the quarterback and spying the running backs. Romeo Dubes was a fantastic wide receiver to get from Nevada. He's going to really match what Aaron Rodgers does well, throwing the ball deep down the field. We got a couple of offensive tackles that I really liked. I liked Rasheed Walker from Penn State a lot. I'm really happy we got him in the 7th round. I think that was a steal. We're going to get Jair Alexander back, who was the most valuable defensive player in the year 2020. No defensive player generated more WAR that year than Jair did. So it really sucks that he was hurt like the majority of the year last year. But we re-signed him. He's now the richest corner. He has the richest cornerback contract in NFL history now, which he deserves.
Yeah.
Him and Jalen Ramsey are the top tier cornerback in the NFL.
Yeah.
And honestly, the more I think about it, this could just be my own personal bias because he is on my team. I would probably take Jair Alexander over J Ram. Just because I haven't seen him get burned by Jamar Chase. And that is the only reason why.
Man.
That's because he didn't play it. He didn't play him when they played against the Bengals. He didn't play. Jair wasn't playing that game.
It is at this point in time that I would like to remind our audience that, as I was with the discussion of the Bengals, we are Chiefs and Packers fans in this podcast.
You are.
In all fairness,
that is my bias.
It is probably biased,
over J-Ram.
But it's not that you don't have a point in saying that, because we have not seen him get burned, but we haven't seen him. So
we haven't seen him. Oh, we haven't seen him since 2020.
Yeah.
Like he didn't play in 2021 really. But when we saw him play in 2020, he was the best corner in the NFL.
I think that's fair.
It's just but also Jalen Ramsey is technically playing his role. Raheem Morris's defense with the Rams is very different than what Jair is doing.
Yeah.
And Jair has less responsibility and can be a little bit more reactive in the Packers defense. Why Jalen Ramsey, what he is asked to do is different every single snap.
Yeah.
So that it's also just a difference in what they're asked to do as well.
Yeah.
They're playing almost a different position. Jalen Ramsey is almost a star position in that defense more than a true outside corner.
True. It's that singularity. You're absolutely right on that. It's like you do what you're asked to do very, very well. I completely understand what you're saying. Yeah.
I do worry about the wide receivers on my Packers this
Hmm.
year. Devontae Adams, the biggest news, got traded to the Raiders.
Yeah.
I I'm okay with the trade because I like what we got back in the trade. The draft capital was worth it,
Hmm.
and Devontae Adams is happy. Like you can
Yeah.
see, he's happy playing. But he's gonna be playing with Derek Carr, so I'm okay with it as a fan. I understand him wanting to leave because Aaron Rodgers probably has 2 more years left,
Yeah.
probably. He can play longer, but I think he only would want to play for about 2 more seasons.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be happy playing longer. He's kind of been on like that soul searching quest for
Yeah,
a while.
yeah, and I feel like he could do whatever he wants in life and be successful. He'll be
Probably.
okay.
Yeah. Um,
And
I would love to see him and Tom Brady and Drew Brees have a podcast or be on like a.
oh, him and Tom Brady having a podcast together would be very entertaining,
Mhm.
but it would be the whitest thing I would ever listen to.
Yeah, that's true.
It is
Especially with
legit.
Drew Brees in there too.
Oh my god, if you put Drew Brees on, it would be like making fried chicken without seasoning the flour at all and just doing straight flour. Like it was terrible.
Calling pepper spicy type.
Yeah, it's very, very, very bland. Um,
Yeah.
but I feel like Aaron Rodgers and this offense that Matt LaFleur has built.
Hmm.
I'm not too worried about us missing Devontae Adams. We signed Sammy Watkins. I think he's gonna be a solid receiver for us. I think we're gonna see also MVS leaving. That was something that kind of sucks, but
Yeah, it's
it happens.
your main deep threat gone. Yeah.
Our main deep threat. But I think Alan Lazard is gonna have a breakout season with us. I think he's gonna be solid.
I think Christian Watson's gonna have a really good year.
I think Christian Watson's gonna be better next year. I think he's gonna have a couple of bright moments.
Hmm.
But I think Romeo Dubes is gonna actually have more receiving yards than him as a rookie.
Really? Okay.
Yes, I think he is gonna be a solid deep threat off the bat for Aaron Rodgers.
Huh.
That's my hot take. Is he's gonna start off the bat because I'm pretty sure he has some size on him. I'm pretty sure he's like 6'2".
Yep. 6'2".
Uh,
6'2",
yeah,
201.
yeah, like he's got some size on him, and he was a deep threat, and he's the main reason Carson Strong looked good on those deep balls last year in college. So I think he's gonna be our X factor on offense this year. Of course, Aaron Jones is going to be a great running back, but we're going to see him use more in the passing game to try to take out some of those targets. The Adams left. We're going to see AJ Dillon more. We're going to
Yeah.
see both of them on the field more at the same time probably this year
That'll
than we
be
saw
really
last
nice.
year.
Yeah. I've always been an Aaron
Um,
Jones fan. I am more recently coming to love AJ Dillon, but
Dude, I love my team's running backs.
yeah.
I think they're both. I. It's awesome when you have two running backs that can do everything
Hmm.
and where it doesn't give away the play call at all.
Yeah, I'll gladly give you Clyde Edwards-Helaire for either one that you don't want.
Yeah, I don't. I would never take that trade. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is the most mid running back I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, for sure.
I've never seen a running back that legit is as dependent on all of his surroundings. Clyde Edwards-Helaire makes the argument that running backs don't matter so much more valid.
Hey
Because
man.
he's had 100-yard games. He's had games with great production because the Chiefs have had either a great offensive line, great skill position players, and a quarterback that draws more attention
Yeah,
in the run game.
true.
But back to my Packers here. I will 1,000% keep both my running backs. No Clyde Edwards-Helaire for you. You keep all of the Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
All right, whatever.
So our schedule, we start with Minnesota. I think we can beat Minnesota the start of the year.
Yeah.
Then our first home game is a primetime game against Chicago.
Yeah.
I
Respectfully,
can't tell you
y'all got
how
it.
excited I am for that September 18th game.
Yeah.
First, open up the season in Lambeau. Great weather against Chicago. Yes.
Yeah.
And that honestly, if I go to a game this year, that might be the game I try to go to. 'Cause
Yeah.
my girlfriend, she's from the region, which is like essentially Eastern Indiana, so Western Indiana, so pretty close to Chicago. And perfect. I know her dad would love to go to Lambeau Field probably for a game
Yeah, dude.
to
That'd be
watch the
sweet.
Bears get the stripe. Then the Buccaneers. That's gonna be a tough game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun game to watch, though.
That's
Any
gonna
game
be a
with
test
Tom
of your
Brady and Aaron
receivers.
Rodgers is gonna be fun.
That's
Then
definitely
they
a
play the
test of your
Patriots.
receivers, 100%.
That's gonna be
Because I still think Tampa lost. I don't think they re-signed Sue, right? And they drafted someone
No.
else too, but I
well,
think.
they got Hicks from the
Oh
Bears.
yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah, so it's still they have very solid DTs.
Yeah. It's just a question of whether or not you can kind of take advantage of that. I'm not gonna call it like weak by any standard because they've shown that they have some really good pieces on that defense. But I think that out of the two, the run defense or the pass defense, you can definitely
The run
throw
defense
it
is going
on
to be the
them.
best in the NFL. The run
Probably,
defense is
yeah.
going to be the best in the NFL again.
It's highly likely.
Their secondary is going to come down to how their safeties play since they lost Jordan Whitehead.
Yeah.
And can Murphy Bunting / whoever else comes in to play this slot plays? Because Carlton Davis and Jamel Dean are by far the best parts of that secondary.
Yes, absolutely.
Especially Carlton Davis. I'm very high on Carlton Davis. I
Same.
think he's a top 10 corner.
Okay. I think I do too. I would have him top 12 at worst. I don't have a list in front of me, but I'd have to look. I agree, top.
I think he's a great man corner. I think he can cover a wide range of wide receivers. But if he goes down and it's just Jamel Dean out there, we saw it last year. That secondary can get exposed in a hurry.
Yeah, that is a suspect.
But also, I think my Packers. I think even with our current receiving core, I think it's good enough to actually still beat Tampa. I think our run game is going to be it's going to be fun to watch the scheme of our run game and how good our running backs and our offensive line are against their defensive line. And also, I feel like if there is going to be a big Christian Watson game, that would be the game against Tampa Bay. I think that would be it. Then we play the Patriots the next week back at Lambeau.
Yes.
That's going to be... I feel like that game we should be able to win. Then we go to London the next week against the Giants.
That'll be
We
a fun
should
one.
win that game as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Then we play the Jets. That's a very winnable game. We should beat the Jets pretty handedly. Then we play the Commanders. We should beat the Commanders. We play the Bills. That's a primetime game, October 30th,
Yeah.
day before Halloween. Very spooky matchup. That's gonna be a fantastic game.
Yeah.
I think we can still win that game just because I think our defense is good enough to legit stop their offense. I think we're one of the I think there's only 3 defenses in the NFL this year that I think can actually stop the Bills, and I think we're one of them.
Yeah, your defense doesn't have any holes. It's a question of the offensive matchup, though.
Can the offense can our offense score? I think our offense can run the ball on them. That's for sure. I think AJ Dillon. I think
that's kind of
game.
That's what I was thinking. I was just thinking how the Bills. So, man, the Bills have so much talent on offense. It's really going to be a good game, and it's going to be a close game for sure. But I think people say
I think
defense
Jair
wins
Alexander
championships.
follows Stephon Diggs all game.
Yeah.
I don't think Jair leaves Diggs for a second.
I I'm very inclined to agree with that. I think the Packers can pull it out, but I have the Bills as like uh top top team next year. Like Bills are probably one of my top 3 Super Bowl hopefuls for next year. So,
I think well the Bills are right now still the favorite to win the Super Bowl next year,
mhm.
which I don't think so. I really don't.
Yeah,
I still think they're a piece away for
I
some reason.
completely no, I share the exact same sentiment. Um
I think if they acquired either one more piece to that secondary or one more big time wide receiver.
mhm. Or even a really good dual threat running back. Like if they got Kamara
I think
or
they do. I think they
Saquon.
do. I think they just drafted
Yeah,
one.
I think
I think
James Cook is
James
going to be
Cook
good, but I don't know
is
if
going to
he's
be a
going to
great
be
dual threat running back.
elite. You know, like
I think
he's
he's
not.
going to be. I think he could be honestly. You
I was
know,
very high
I
on
think
him,
he's got.
but
I think he's diet Alvin Kamara,
okay, I guess.
which I like. Honestly, if he's a guy who's like 75-80% Alvin Kamara
Hmm.
in that offense, that's more than enough.
Oh, absolutely.
They're often okay. The Bills' offensive line, I'm gonna say, is it's very average at best.
Hmm.
That's why I also think my Packers can take advantage there because our defensive line, I think, is gonna can just
Your
shred through
defensive
them.
line fucks. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like Kenny Clark. I don't think they have a single interior offensive lineman that can block him one on one. He's gonna get doubled all game. I think that's gonna open up for Devontae Wyatt to be able to get some pass rush opportunities.
Hmm.
Um, I saw that we're running a package with Quay Walker on the edge
Hmm.
and Rashawn Gary rushing as like a nose tackle lined up over the center. I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
that's gonna be fun. I think packages like that against the Bills is a way that we're gonna take advantage of them.
Yeah.
I I think we're gonna win that game.
Okay.
I think honestly, I think the only loss for us to start the year might be against Tampa.
Yeah. I kind of think the same.
Because
I
I just think Tampa Bay is just so good.
yeah.
They're especially since we're playing them at Tampa.
Yeah.
The Bills game that's gonna be tough. Then we play Detroit. I think we can beat Detroit. Dallas. I think we've had Aaron Rodgers had the Cowboys number for his entire career.
Yep.
And we play the Titans. I think that's a Thursday night game.
Hmm. I
I think we can beat the Titans.
I think the Eagles is going to be another really good game. I think we have a few really really good games for them. I think all of them
I
are
will say
winnable.
this. I think the Eagles game is a great spot for us to
Hmm.
play the Eagles.
Yeah.
It's a primetime game. And if you look, the Titans game being a Thursday night game is great
Hmm.
because literally it gives us a mini bye. We have
True.
10 days in between to rest
Prepare.
up.
Yeah.
And then we play the Chicago. We can beat the Bears. Then we have our bye week. Then we play the Rams at Green Bay.
Hmm.
Perfect timing, right after the bye and in Green Bay. Then we play the Dolphins, Minnesota. Then we end the year at Detroit. I think the timing for a bunch of our like tougher games is what's really going to help us.
Yeah. I think the
It's cool.
Eagles game is really really going to be a good one, especially with you guys coming fresh off that bye. Um I think the Rams game is going to be another really
Rams
really good
game.
one.
The Rams game is the one we're coming off the bye. The Eagles game is just because we played a Thursday night game. We're gonna be
Oh yeah,
rested.
so like the longer week, yeah, whatever. It's a mini bye, it's fine, whatever.
10 games.
Yeah.
We're having 10 games of rest.
So
Um,
I think both of those games are going to be really really good and really good gauges for where you're going in the off season. Like you said, the Eagles defense, and then the Rams defense, obviously, and you have J Ram.
And the
So
Bills.
whoever's looking like your number one receiver, we can see what J Ram looks like versus whoever that
Versus
is.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, so on FanDuel, their over under is 10.5. So 11
Oof.
wins. Oof is right, my friend.
I,
So
I think
Minnesota,
they could win up to 13 of these games. Up to. I don't think they win 13. I think they are somewhere in the 10.5, 11 range at probably good.
honestly, this is gonna sound insane. I think we win. I think we can win 15 games
15 games.
out of
Dude,
17.
I'm giving you
I think we
13
only
as a
lose twice.
I'm giving you
I only
13
think
as
we
a
lose twice.
top. I don't
Or
know.
14. I think we bottom out at 14.
All right, man. I believe you, but
I think we can, like, let's be real. The only three teams I think that can beat us on on my schedule is Tampa Bay,
mhm,
Buffalo,
mhm.
and the Rams. I think we can beat every other team on our schedule.
I think the Eagles are going to prove to be more of a I think people are underestimating what the Eagles are going
I
to be
think.
this year.
Oh, I think the Eagles are winning their division.
Oh, yeah, for
I
sure.
think.
No question about that.
I think the Eagles are going to be a good team this year. I just think with the extra time to prepare, I think we can win that game.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. I think it's a very close game, but I think that's one of the games that they could lose.
Oh, wait. I think we could lose that game. Hey, I feel okay. The Eagles are probably another game we could lose, but that's about it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying there's a lot. I'm saying like I 13 wins would be 4 losses. So I mean that would be the 4 that I would have question. But there's always one game, man. There's always one game that you just don't know, you know?
Yeah, like a random ass game against like the Giants are a sleeper team this year that could be good.
Their defense is solid. It's no joke. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that wraps up the NFC North for us. I would still take the over on 10.5 for the Packers. Are you gonna take the over the under?
I I'm going to take the over. I have them at 10.5, 11. So,
So even though like 10.5 is a lot
yeah,
for
it
any
it
team,
really is.
and also, do they still hit that with Jordan Love at quarterback?
Yeah, that's
Is
the
another
other
one.
big question.
If Aaron Rodgers, like if something happens to his collarbone or something,
Yeah,
like we could be screwed.
I don't have the answer to that. Um,
Even though we, even though our offense has shown that it can still function without like key pieces to it.
yeah, but I mean
Matt LaFleur is a good coach.
that's one of the greatest quarterbacks we've seen, So it's kind
I
of
know. It there's no way that we are a Super Bowl team with Aaron Rodgers. Without him, we're not making the playoffs.
yeah, that's well, your defense might carry you to the playoffs, but it's
That's true. We're in the NFC.
yeah,
They could carry us to the seventh. Our defense alone can carry us to the seventh
second
seed.
second round of the playoffs, even maybe if Jordan Love
Yeah.
plays well, but
Yeah.
you're not winning playoff games without Aaron Rodgers, really.
Yeah. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in for the NFC North. This has been a really fun division to go over.
Yeah.
Since it's my team's division, and I feel like honestly, my team's gonna win it. The Green Bay Packers. I think the only team I'm honestly worried about from my division is the Lions, just because their schedule is also just straight garbage. How
Yeah.
easy it is.
Yeah, the Lions are in an interesting spot. I
The Lions are in a spot.
as
That's for
someone who very much enjoys watching the Packers play and always has, I think it'll be interesting to see how the Packers look going forward. Maybe with some of those easier matchups, they'll give Jordan Love some time to kind of settle in and have Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers give him some looks. Um, and with the Lions, we'll see what they look like with okay quarterback, but we need to see what direction they're going moving forward.
Mhm.
I think that's the important part.
The best thing for the Lions is Jared Goff is such a great measuring stick
Yes.
of what you have on your roster.
Yes.
Because you can figure out with Jared Goff, you can figure out everything you have on your roster and see what needs switched out and what works. And then you can just plug him out, take him out, plug something in that's better.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
It's like what is it? It's running, when they do the test where they put something in a pipe to see like where the leak is, or like when you spray to see where the leak is. Yeah, something like that.
that's Jared Goff.
That's really what Jared Goff is essentially. It's
Yeah,
like,
because
yeah,
Jared Goff,
you
he
may be
can't
able to seal the
overcome
leak a little
deficiencies.
bit.
He can't overcome roster deficiencies, so he shows you where the roster deficiency is.
Yeah, exactly, completely. It's like finding a nail in your tire. It's like
which is
you can leave the nail there, right?
which is
But
yeah,
you're gonna have
but
to
you're
do something about it.
yeah. And also, there's Jared Goff is the perfect average quarterback
Hmm.
to where he is going to show you what your roster is and what it's not.
Absolutely, completely agree.
But now that we're done talking about Detroit being happy to have an average quarterback, I think that's a great way to wrap up the NFC North. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in for Pitch Pass Podcast. It's been me, Brando, and my partner.
Brett Lee.
All right, everybody, have a good one. We will be back soon with the next installment.
Yeah.
Have a great night.
Peace out.